Back with another course vlog today from Dragonfly in Madera, California, and I was able to get through the front nine before I had to join up with another group, so I got the front nine for you. I went out with no warm-up to try to get ahead of things, and this drive was terrible. It was in the fairway, but about 100 yards short, so I had 230 into the pin. I hit a big sweeping 5-iron that actually ended up rolling out just long of the green. Hit a good putt here. I thought it might go in for a second, but ended up breaking off way right when I thought this was going left. And you'll see that the brakes were really tricking me today because I thought this was a good putt and it missed by a long shot. I barely even made this tap in because I just couldn't believe it was braking to the right. So a bogey start, but I hit 3 hybrid off the number 2 tee and hit a nice little draw down the fairway. I wasn't going for this green in 2, so again I took a 5-iron and just hit a nice sweeping draw right at the right side bunker to give me a good angle into the pin. I had about 65 yards to the pin and knocked this one to the right and let it bounce off the hill down towards the hole. I hit a good putt exactly where I wanted, but the brake just wasn't doing what I thought it would, so I had to tap in par. Hit an 8-iron to this pin about 170 up the hill and ended up just left about pin high. Then I had to avoid some wildlife before putting. Get out of here. So I had this about 25-30 feet up the hill for birdie and hit a good putt, but just didn't break off at the end, but I had another tap in par. This drive didn't quite turn over enough, so I ended up on the right side of the fairway, which is a really common spot for me. And unfortunately, this green is super shallow, so I didn't have much of a landing area. I had about 85 yards to the pin, so I hit a lob wedge, ended up going just long. So I had this chip for birdie, and I hit a good one, but again, it just broke off way harder right than I thought it would. But can't complain after that tee shot. I had this 3-footer for par. Another long par 3, playing about 220, and I tried to hit another draw 5-iron. I started it right on my line, but it just didn't turn over. So I ended up short and right, and hit this pitch shot a little too hard. Sit. So once it goes past the pin, there's just no stopping, and it went about 40 feet down the hill. Of course, left it a little bit short, but had to tap in for bogey. I hit a good drive here, but I DL4 because they were doing a lot of maintenance on the bunkers, but it actually went right by the workers down into the fairway. So I was able to go for this green in 2. I took a 3 hybrid, ended up hitting it a little too good and went long and right over the green.
Horrible bounce.
I hit a good chip, but it hit the front side of a little tuft of grass and just killed all the power and sent it off left, so just wasn't as close as it should have been. So I had a decent look at birdie, but left this one short. But again, another tap in par. Another decent drive, didn't quite turn over, so ended up in the bunker in the right side of the fairway. They're working on the bunkers, and this one was really hard packed, so it wasn't the worst lie. I had about 150 into the bottom of this green and hit a good shot here. Landed about pin high just to the right on the bottom level. So I had this 25-footer for birdie and hit a good putt. Ended up just a few inches short, but another tap in par. I absolutely crushed this 3 hybrid off the tee. It went 270, so I had just about 90 yards to the pin. Hit a little knockdown 52, it landed right next to the pin and rolled to the back of the green. So I had about 10-12 feet up the hill, breaking right to left, and just gave it too much respect. It didn't come back down, so again, another tap in par. Hit a bad tee shot here, it flared off way to the right, ended up in the long grass, so I had to pitch back out into the fairway. And I had about 105 yards into the pin. I hit a knockdown gap wedge, and it landed right by the pin again, but rolled about 30-40 feet past, so that was probably the only bad club selection that I made all day, and I should have hit a 52. So I had a long putt down the hill to save par, and of course missed that one long and right. But I was able to make the comebacker for bogey, so that was 3 over on the front from the black tees. And if my driving wasn't so bad and a couple of those putts went down, I could have had a much better score.